On today's episode, we are checking in on the Continental. We're also going to talk about which Keanu Reeves movie is the most excellent. We've got Doomsday Download. All right. Well, welcome back to another episode here, or your first episode. I don't know what the situation is with you in your life, but I am Talon, and sat across from me is the one and only co-hostess with the mo-hostess, Dolan Jimothy Rodriguez. How are you?
That's correct. Thank you for using my Christian name.
That is right. That's what we aim for here. Speaking of Christian, I guess, the end of the world is a thing in our scenario.
Yep.
And this is the Doomsday Download.
Yes, so as we discussed in the previous episode, which you definitely listened to, we are curating a hard drive for the end of the world, deciding what everybody will be watching, listening to, reading, all of that fun stuff.
Right. And at the end, ultimately, we have the hard drive. We can only make one pick each. So, you know, we're going to get to that today. We've got some Keanu coming up. Everyone loves Keanu Reeves, right?
I do.
Yeah, okay, well, that's you and me, so that's everyone in this conversation.
Yeah, everyone important.
Yep, that's right. But first, before we can get to that, we're going to have the Continental also, which is a new show that just came out in the John Wick universe. Ooh,
Correct.
Ooh. But then before we even get to that, you like I'm stacking?
Yeah. Building the suspense.
The suspense has been built, and here it comes. Dylan, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So this is a totally original game. No one has ever thought of an idea like this.
Correct.
This is stream, download, delete, okay?
Okay.
And the situation is, basically, if you know Keanu Reeves, you know that he loves...
Motorcycles.
That is correct! I'm glad you got that right. So, I was thinking, in our wide world...
Right.
If you had motorcycle, like choppers, like brother, like that level of motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or you have crotch rockets, and then you have scooters, like Vespas.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna marry the chopper,
Reasoning?
fuck the scooter,
Okay.
and kill the crotch rocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's your thinking there?
So the chopper, because I think it would be the most comfortable. You're sitting back, you're sitting up in most cases. And, you know, I just love that brother and denim vest lifestyle.
Yeah.
The Vespa, that's what you said, right? Vespa? That's what I'm fucking.
Yeah. Scooters, yeah.
I would say that is comfortable ride, obviously, like back streets and stuff, much safer ride. Look goofy as hell. Can't
That's
get...
true. That is
more like cannot be more of a white goober than riding a Vespa around.
So true.
But you know, I'll fucks with it.
He fucks with it.
And a crotch rocket, yeah, they just seem super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I have no desire to explode my legs just taking a turn on a freeway because that's what those are built for, I feel like.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty good reasoning. Let's see, do I have any differences? I will say I would download the choppers because of Sons of Anarchy. Honestly, that's the whole reasoning there. And then I would, I want to say I would stream the crotch rockets because I know some people who ride them, but I just can't. For the sake of like JD alone from Scrubs, I feel like I can't erase Vespas from being, so I'll keep them, and then the delete will have to be the crotch rockets.
Well, yeah, and it's because both of our dads ride crotch rockets, right?
That, and then also, like, my brother Tucker, he rides crotch rockets from time to time. So, yeah, there's just a lot of, you know, history there. But, I mean, you know, get on a Vespa, boys. It's out there. Vroom, vroom.
That's right, dude. Okay, I have a question for you.
Oh, my God.
Now, I feel like this question has been done before, where you ask if you're going to break into somebody's house, what's something that you could steal that would be of minor inconvenience to them, right? But I want to know specifically what you would steal from my house that you think would inconvenience me, but not like I'm calling the FBI to find out who did it.
So, is this a leading question? Are you like, I want to know what to look for every time you leave the house?
Yeah, I just don't know if I can trust you. We haven't been friends that long.
Fair. It's only been like 25 years. You don't know if you can trust me. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. What would I steal from your house that I don't think you would notice? Okay, this is a funny one. You have a wall of photos leading right next to the bathroom going into your office. There are so many of those. I think if I took one of them, say the one where my head is half chopped off, and it's you and me.
Oh, that's right.
See? Just the very fact that you're like, oh, that's right. I think I could steal that frame photo and you guys wouldn't notice for a very long time because there are so many. There's also more of you and me on the wall. So I'm not saying it's like, we won't notice the towel is out of our lives. I'm saying straight up that it's because you have so many, it would just background noise.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Not a great answer because I asked what would be an inconvenience for me. But that's all right. Here's, I think, what I would take from your house.
Oh, he's looking around. This is dangerous.
I would take... You know what I would take? I would take that giant slab of your sink that's chipping off in your kitchen. Because I know that it already, like, stresses you out seeing it every time you go to the sink. And if it was just a massive hole rather than a dangling piece of sink... I think that would irk you even more.
I love that you just exposed my dangling piece of sink.
That's right.
Oh, that he's bringing the hard truths over here. Yeah, no, that would be ridiculous. And honestly, you're right. I wouldn't call the FBI because what am I going to say? Like, so I broke my sink and then now it's gone. I don't know where it is.
As if your like apartment complex is like tracing the call, like listening, monitoring your calls, and they're going to know.
Yeah, speaking in code with the FBI agent. We heard you're calling in a bomb threat. What is this? It better be pretty serious. Yeah, but there's a quote-unquote bomb missing from my quote-unquote apartment.
Broken sink? Fuck.
I'm going to call back later.
Yeah, I think that would irk you just enough that, you know, drive you crazy each day.
Yeah, okay.
Slower and slower, you'd be driven mad until, I don't know, you fucking called the FBI. I don't know.
Yeah, just like that. You're right. That would be when I finally do it. Okay, so there you go. Those are a couple questions. Now we're going to get into something pretty juicy.
Yep.
I don't even know if have we both watched this thing yet, the Continental?
Yeah.
Ooh,
just the first episode.
Yeah, just the first episode came out. It's an hour and a half long, which feels like a whole lot of episode.
Dude, it was insane. When I saw how long it was, oh my God, I hated the fact that we were even doing it.
I know. But this is what we need to do. You know, we need to understand what's out there in the wide world.
That's right.
So, yeah, I have some categories here. I have explosion, which is basically the good stuff about it. I have poop emoji, which is the not good stuff about it. And then I have my final emoji, which I don't want to say right now because I feel like gives away my overall emotion about the show. Sure. So where are we starting?
Well, first, I just want to throw the disclaimer in there that I'm going to reference some specific things that happen in this episode.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it, just picture it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also going to do some light spoilers, but it's the first episode of the show. There's really not much to give away. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So I just made some notes.
Okay.
Thoughts that I had as I went through. My first note here, I wrote vault scene, woman never left. Okay. So here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
The show opens up with the long-haired dude walking out of what we later learn is the room with the vault. And he walks out and he's in like the stairwell, right?
Okay.
There's a guard at the top of the stairwell.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, you're not supposed to be down there. And the guy says something like, well, when you're bagging a married lady, you're going to do it in private or something like that, right?
Okay.
The issue that I had with this immediately is that this guard never went down to find this woman that's going to be in a restricted area, that it's clearly his job to monitor the restricted areas.
Yeah, so he's just blowing off a whole part of his job.
Yeah, and he is posted at the top of the stairs, so what, he like never waits to see if she leaves?
Okay, are you talking about in the very, very beginning when it's like he's coming up the stairs and he's going into the party?
Exactly.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Remember, and the guy's like, I should tell on you. And he's like, well, I know you've had your amount of indiscretions or whatever he says.
Your fair share of dames were in the 70s.
Yeah, whatever the dialogue is there, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm just thinking, so that fucking guard just was like, all right, he's bagging a married chick and then goes back to the party?
Yeah, I guess so. They're just buds.
He's immediately in the vault room when they blow the vault door off.
It's true.
That was my first note. Okay. And that's on the first scene.
And that does tie to one of my positives, which is the cool subway train heist.
Okay.
I like that aspect. I like that they used the grappling hook to rip off the vault door thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was cool. It is insane that they have these, like, manholes.
Oh, yeah, that no one noticed them.
Straight down to a storage room, one straight down to the subway tunnel.
Yes. Yeah. It's implausible, but if you completely suspend all disbelief, it is a cool visual idea.
Agreed, yeah, and I did like the fact that it's just like, yeah, we're just going to leave this fucking grappling hook dangling and the train will do the rest.
Yeah, we'll just let it rip it right out.
Which is also funny, because, like, what if the train just knocked the fucking grappling hook out of the way?
Oh my God, that would have been the best. They're just sitting there waiting. They're like, do you think it worked? I haven't heard it rip out yet.
Dude, or what if, like, it tore the whole vault door off and just, like, tore the entire floor through both rooms?
Just demolishes part of the building.
Yeah.
We didn't see this coming.
I get it. It's a show. It's fictional TV land. But, you know, there are little details like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it then leads into this fight scene in the stairwell where he's shooting his way out.
Yes.
Decent fight choreography here.
Oh, arguably the best part of the show. And I will say, I wrote this down. The gun fu feels like John Wick.
It does.
So that's good.
Yeah, I think they nailed the feel of it. There was a full, like, 4-second part, because obviously all the fucking baddies, all the henchmen, terrible aim.
Yeah.
Like, they only hit railings and wall in the scene, right? But there is a part where he's got, like, 3 dudes up on the stairs, like, above him, and they wait for, like, 4 seconds for him to reload his gun,
They sure
take
do.
aim, and then pop them.
Dude, it's the classic choreography gunfight where it's like, no, it's not my turn. I'm waiting. Now I can die.
Yeah, exactly. It was so insane. But other than that, that scene, I really liked how it played out. Yeah. Gave me a very unrealistic expectation for the rest of the episode.
1,000%. Yeah.
They really, like, they knew what the draw was to John Wick. And they were like, let's throw that at the beginning. And then once you have them hooked, people just cannot quit.
They're not going to turn it off. When's another gun fu going to come up?
Yeah.
It might not come up. I'm just letting you know.
I was fooled. Okay, my next note. I put Mel Gibson, ? Because why? Why is he here?
So it wasn't a question of do we like him. It was why is he here at all?
Yeah. And I get that, like, they need some sort of celebrity in this thing, but Mel Gibson was the draw. Yeah. And also his terrible fucking accent.
It came and went a lot. Dude,
yeah.
Moment to moment in a line that he's delivering.
And it's, like, so strong in some parts, like so heavy, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, tone it down a little bit. Not that much, but, you know, come on.
Yep. On that note, I gave him half credit for being half of a good performance in the show. The other one that I wanted to highlight, and I don't know if you have this written down, the villain from The Mask is the real standout here.
Yeah.
Dude, his name is Peter Green, and he was the very best part, acting-wise, of the entire show.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm so glad that you just called him the dude from The Mask, because that's the only thing I know him from.
Yeah, 1,000%, dude. And I felt bad. I looked up, I was like, why did he fall off the face of the planet? So for like a while there, he was addicted to drugs, which is sad. But the winning part of the story is he's back right now. He's in this show. So if you end up watching the show, just give him a round of applause when he comes on screen, because he's really the one trying to do something here.
Yeah, and I don't know if people are watching this show.
True.
But yeah, I hope for his sake they are.
I hope for his sake.
And that alone.
And that's it. Maybe half credit Mel Gibson on my behalf.
Yeah. Another ridiculous note another ridiculous scene that I noted. So there's the female cop and the male cop.
Yeah.
She calls him on the radio. They're in 2 different cars, right? She calls him on the radio. She's like, oh, I'm trying to follow this perp. And he's like, oh, don't follow him into the hotel or whatever. And she sets the radio down and she gets out of the car. Before she makes it to the hotel door, the other cop pulls up, cuts her off, and throws her in the car. That means they were maybe half a block away from each other.
100%.
Dude, it blew my mind that they didn't take into account how long it would take him to get there.
Dude, so basically I think what they were trying to say there, this was me trying to give them all the credit in the world.
Sure.
Was that he was putting together that she was probably close to getting to the Continental, like in her case that she was working on. And so he was like, I need to be around the corner in case she goes rogue on me, because I know this chick, she's going to go rogue. And so as soon as she did, he knew to fly out of that alley that he takes her back to and cut her off at the head. But I totally agree. If that's not the plan, then they just time traveled to get to where they were.
Well, and that's not the plan, because he's working a different case with 2 other dudes in the car, and they're like beating up some drug dealer or something.
Yeah.
And then they get in the car. So unless he's like, oh, I'm taking that assignment, it's right next to the Continental, and I'm going to have to swoop in because that lady doesn't listen to me.
Yeah, she's a rebel without a cause, all right?
Now, that being said, great set design.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought they killed it on like the set design in a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, the Continental feels like the Continental, like the lounge and stuff like that.
Yeah, now I will say the Continental and that whole universe is kind of the weakest part of the John Wick universe for me.
Yeah, it turns out that Keanu Reeves is carrying most of that movie, which is not a surprise.
Yeah, and I think it's the first movie where it shows like the telephone operators and they're all like tatted up like pinup girls,
Yeah.
you know? And I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like this universe, they're just trying to make it edgy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turns out I didn't need more of that universe.
Yeah, which is very telling for the fate of this show, I would say.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
All right, so we've blown through a lot of the good stuff. I will say one more good thing, the smooth editing. I loved. I will say, like, whoever the editor is, you earned your paycheck. They did some very cool things. In the very beginning, there was the classic car is the cutting point thing, like 3 or 4 times in a row. I know it's kind of beating a dead horse at a certain point, but also it's a good move. It's a style move. I liked it. The other moment that stands out editing-wise, they're like, there's a big brute and he's beating up a guy in a chair and he's like, what should I do, master? Turning up to the leader lady or whatever.
Yeah.
Keeps beating him to death. And then it tilts up to the sunroof and that crossfades into being the yellow light at a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Dope ass move. If that was in a better show, I love it even more. But hey, you earned your paycheck. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, there's some great camera work in the show as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. Another note I have.
Yeah.
The Continental management is concerned about cops.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like, they all kind of, like, were totally aware when the cop came in and paid in cash. Mm-hmm. And yet they have people diving off balconies onto the street below.
I know, dude. It's like they're trying to be undercover when they decide it's important to the story. But when it's not important, they're like, literally throw it out a window.
Yeah. Okay, and then my last note as far as the story goes. So the whole premise of the episode, the guy steals, like, a coin press from the vault.
Yeah.
Right? They're after him.
Yeah.
Turns out he was paid to do it so that he could have a way out. And he was double-crossed.
Yeah.
Right? So now his brother gets pulled into it. So near the end of the episode, they're being shot at. And he goes, you know what? They're after me. And he hops out with the coin press and dies.
Instantly.
Yeah. And it's not the actual coin press.
Right.
So, couple things here. One, they could have gotten away.
Totally. They were in the helicopter well into the air.
Yeah. And if you're worried about them chasing you, toss the coin press.
Yeah.
Because you were under the assumption that that's what they wanted.
Right.
Right? But you didn't. You gave them a fake. So now they're just going to be after your brother and your wife.
Because they still have the real MacGuffin of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
None of that made sense. They just needed to kill off that actor.
Yeah, he just needed to be dead. And you're right. Like, even if you're thinking about the character's goal there, it's like, okay, wait a minute. So you're really in love with this chick. You're really excited to have a family with her. But the trade-off is I'm going to kill myself for a meaningless moment on this rooftop. And also to do the cheesiest, because he was in Nam. He was in Nam. So he does the jump and hurt himself out of the fucking helicopter that's from Nam, of course.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, he walks to the edge, instantly gets shot. So it's just like his plan was just to die and just get out of it. He's like, I just don't want to be tortured at any point. So I'm just going to take the quickest exit there is.
Yeah, which, by the way, those weirdo twins, underutilized. They would have been better. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, these are the goofiest fucking characters. Let's see a bunch of them throughout this episode.
Yeah.
And I love that they're like, you know, the specialty, like, oh, let's bring them in to finish the job. And like we said, they would have gotten away. Like, they popped a few shots. They hit the helicopter pilot.
Yep.
They hit the wife or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're like home free. You know, they're going to get out of there.
Yeah, dude.
So these twins, like, they're okay snipers, I guess, was their specialty.
That's their specialty.
Otherwise, they're just dominatrix weirdos.
I know. But you're right. Like, they added at least a flavor to the episode where it was so flavorless for most of it. And that's really one of the other things I wanted to hit on for this show is the performances overall. Like we already said, there's maybe 1.5 good performances.
Yeah.
Someone is at fault here. I don't know if it's the casting director. I don't know if it's the director. I don't know if it's like starting at the writing level. I think part of it is starting at the writing level.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, the fact that like so much of the show hinges on Winston and he's supposed to be this charismatic con man, he was so flat and so boring. And then he'd be forced into doing bad, you know, hero dialogue. And then he'd be back to being flat and boring. And I was just like, how can you try and build a show around this dude? This is not working.
Yeah, and it's an hour and a half for the first episode. You got to really get people interested.
Yeah.
With an hour and a half of this dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. So I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
because I'm reviewing it now.
Okay, we have firm numbers now.
Yeah, the 4 is for the good set design, the good camera shots, and the fight choreography in that first scene.
Yeah.
There's a fight scene later in the episode, and it sucks. It's like
totally.
the two brothers taking down those two dudes.
Yeah.
And it totally loses all of the charm.
Yes. Even when they're in that rundown wherever they are and they're like running with the coin purse thing, it's the same feeling.
Coin purse.
Whatever it is, dude, it doesn't matter. The plot device, they're running with it. And yeah, same thing. I was like, this is so drab and boring and like it doesn't have any of the John Wick pop to it, you know?
Yep.
Which sucks. So you gave it a 4 out of 10. I gave it a meh emoji out of all the emojis, which is just the eyes slit closed and the flat mouth, where it's just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. And overall, this pilot does not make me want to come back to watch anymore. I won't say whether anyone else should watch this show. I'm just saying that me personally, I'm out on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes. If you watch the John Wick movies, and the highlight for you in those movies was the Continental, and you want to see more of that universe, it's probably worth a watch.
Sure.
Like I said, it's the weakest part of the John Wick movies for me.
Right.
I didn't need a show that explored that further. And when you take Keanu out of it, it loses all charm for me.
Yes, most definitely. Speaking of the charming Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
I think we're ready to roll into the man, the myth, the legend himself. So the way this works, because this is the first like official episode, we should say, we have our top 5 picks. We're going to lead to our number 1. That'll be locked in. But we also get to do honorable mentions.
That's correct.
And I'm going to do an honorable mention here. I'm breaking the rules, but that's why it's in the honorable mention. If I could have done this as an overall performance, I would have put it higher.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk 2077, just as a character, Johnny Silverhands, I think is dope as fuck. And I think Keanu Reeves killed that role. And that's it. That's my only honorable mention because I haven't seen a lot of the other things that were on the list, except for the 5 that I roped in.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And I do just want to be clear. We have our 5 picks. We both have a number 1. So we're each deciding what our highest Keanu pick will be going on the hard drive.
Right.
This is all things Keanu, all Keanu movies.
Movies. Yes.
Yeah.
Except if you're breaking the rules, which I just did.
Right. Okay, I want to throw a few of my honorable mentions out here.
Okay.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay.
And Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Love them.
Just saw them so much growing up.
Yeah.
Love that version of Keanu.
Yes.
And they're always fun to go back to.
Yes.
I did not see the new Bill and Ted.
It's bad.
Didn't have an interest.
It's bad.
Yeah. I assumed it would be.
Yes. It might be as bad as the Continental. I'm trying to put it together in my head right now.
I would believe that.
It has slightly more charm because Keanu's in it. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah, and I mean, Matrix, you know, the reboot of Matrix or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the newest one.
Yeah, really bad too. So I think, you know, just leave those properties alone at this point.
I agree. They've been through so much.
Another one, Hardball.
That's so funny. That's my number 5.
Oh, well, yeah. So Hardball was a heavy hitter for us, but I'll let you talk about it more when you get to your number 5.
Okay.
And my last honorable mention, Constantine.
Yeah.
Loved that movie.
It's a dope character. I agree, though, he has better movies, but it still deserves a call out.
Yeah, I just love, like, that ending scene near the end when he's, like, being raised up to heaven, and so he, like, flips off the devil or whatever, and then it just drops him.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, that whole sequence of him being like in the old rundown bathhouse or whatever at the end.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Also, the part in the beginning where he gets the demon into the mirror and drops it, I'm like, that's tight as fuck. Good job.
Yeah. Is it? Oh no, it's Rachel Weisz, right?
I think it is. Or Vice.
Vice.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
I think it is because it's like Christoph Waltz, because I think it's like a German name.
Sure.
So.
All right, that makes sense.
Now we know last names.
So those were my honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, then let's jump in. Number 5 for me, as we talked about already, Hardball. Quick story time. I was like 8 years old or 6 or something when it came out. And I was laying on a pull-out couch in my living room. My mom was asleep next to me because she was not interested in the movie. But then it gets to the part where the little boy dies in a drive-by. And I was apparently crying so hard that she shook awake. So she came to and she went, "Oh, honey, what's wrong?" And I went, "It's just so sad." And she comforted me through the end of the movie. So for that alone, I think I have to give it props. Also, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I obviously love baseball to this day. So maybe that was like an early seed of loving baseball.
Yeah, because that's before you were a big baseball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I heard about that movie from you.
Yeah.
And that's how you prefaced it. You said, this movie made me cry.
Yeah.
There's a scene in it, you wouldn't tell me what the scene was, and yeah, I teared up as well.
Yep, it hits.
Okay, my number 5. It's out of left field, if you will.
Oh, is it baseball?
It's A Scanner Darkly.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about putting that on the list. That is a good one, though.
Yeah, I really, when it came out, it kind of blew my mind just because I hadn't seen like that type of animation over the live action filming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was really good. Robert Downey Jr. is great in it. That's one of the few movies I really enjoy his performance.
Yeah.
Keanu's great in it. It's another one where he and Winona Ryder pair up. And directed by Richard Linklater.
That's sick.
I know. It's nuts, man. Like so I recently learned that within the last few years, which prompted me to go back and rewatch it. And it still holds up.
Oh, I love that. Damn. Okay. Number 4, hopping along, speeding along. It's Speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell from my brilliant undercover pun work there, but yeah, no, it's a sick movie. I mean, it's classic in so many ways. It also is totally absurd. You have to be in the mood to watch a movie where it's like, if this bus goes under 50 miles an hour, we all die.
Yeah.
But it's great for that. And honestly, hearing some of the stories, so I've heard on some other podcasts, like I Was There Too, where they talk a little bit about the making of that movie. It sounds just like an insane time to be on a movie set.
Yeah, that movie. So, yeah, some top Keanu performance there.
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels is excellent in it. Dennis Hopper. Something about Dennis Hopper's villain was so compelling to me that there's a scene where he's eating a sandwich with salami on it, and he takes a swig of beer. And I was like, that looked so cool. Because I saw it when I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
probably.
totally.
And I was like, that looks so cool that I want to do that.
You want to swig of beer.
So I tried to drink like water with a sandwich. It was disgusting. But yeah, and Sandra Bullock, had a huge crush on her when I saw that movie. That movie is just all around great. I actually rewatched it within the last like month or 2, and it fucking holds up,
Sick.
man. It's great. And Keanu drives a dope-ass Bronco that I really love in that movie.
I forgot about that. Is that on your list?
Yeah, that's number 3 for me.
Sick.
Number 4 for me, John Wick.
Okay, also on my list, but I put it up higher, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and I had a feeling you would put it up higher. Yeah, John Wick, the first.
Yes.
The best out of the 4.
Yeah.
And it's great, man. It's so fun to see Keanu come back and just fucking kill it in an action movie.
To kill it, yeah.
And the premise is great. It's devastating to see the puppy die at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's the best setup for a set of villains because it's like not convoluted. It's not like, yeah, see, they stung him and then he ended up going to jail. And then when he got out, he had a friggin' beef to work out with him. It's just like, wife had cancer. Cancer dog left behind. Cancer dog now dead because of bad guys. Do you hate them? Good. Watch John Wick kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, and the action, the choreography is just amazing.
Yes. Oh, dude, it honestly, like, it sets such a trend, and that lets you know how influential a movie it is that, like, that is what people are aiming for in action movies right now. A lot of the times. Like, look at Extraction. Like, that's a great example of, like, we want to be like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And obviously now it has a show that's, like, exploring that other universe, but it also, there are just other movies that have picked up, like, within that universe. I think Atomic Blonde is supposed to be, like, in the same universe.
1000%.
Nobody? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Nobody.
Yeah, supposed to be in that universe. So it's just, like, birthing all of these okay action movies.
That's
None
dope.
of them as good as John Wick, though.
No, for sure. That was, like, groundbreaking in a new way, and it's fucking rad. For me, that was my number 3.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I would say if I had to rate the 4 plus Atomic Blonde, it would go John Wick 1, Atomic Blonde.
Oh, and then the rest.
4, 2, 3. Like,
Sure.
that you can put those however you want.
Right.
Really, my point was I would rather watch Atomic Blonde than 2 through 4.
The rest, yeah.
And I
That's
do
cool.
actually really like Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, that's Charlize Theron, right?
Yeah.
Dude, she's
she
so
kicks
dope.
ass in it, yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay, so that was your number 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then your number 3 we already talked about, Speed.
Yep.
And now you've also talked about my number 3, Wick. So we're moving on to the 2 spots, I think.
Okay.
Do you want to take a 2 spot first this time? Go for
Sure.
it.
Yeah. 2, Matrix.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, Matrix changed my world.
Yes.
Like it changed a lot of people's.
Yeah.
But just being such an action movie fiend growing up.
Yeah.
And seeing the stuff that they did in that movie.
Yeah.
Insane. And Keanu, it really put Keanu on the map for me. I was introduced to Speed before Matrix.
Definitely.
But yeah, just as an action movie star, I carried that after that movie. Him as just like the leading in an action movie.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are fine, but goddamn, 1 just hits different.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking phenomenal, dude. I mean, it has the, like, you know, same problem that a lot of properties have, which is, like, the first idea is super fresh, then they need to rush out and make the next two. Literally, in this case, people might not know this because it happened so long ago, they filmed them literally back-to-back, continuously filmed, and planned to release them, like, 6 or 9 months apart. So, yeah, for sure, I can see why it fell apart, but that first one is fucking great, and that one will come up on my list in the near times.
Okay, so we know which one that one is. All right, what's your number 2?
So my number 2, I did flip back and forward between these two. It's funny, you already mentioned this one. I'm going to put it here, though, because I feel like there will be a mob out to get me. And also, the other one deserves to be number 1 for sure. But I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I have been watching that movie since I was, I don't even know, dude, like 3 years old. And I will forever love, it's infinitely quotable, most excellent. Like, it's just, it's such a warm hug of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. When I was a kid, I was like, I hope that's what high school is really like. Like, I just get to go recruit famous historical figures and wear cool clothes from the 80s and show my belly button off. This is going to be great.
Okay, you were kind of a dummy then as a kid.
Well, you know, dummy, dreamer. What do you want to fight?
Phone booths are how you travel through time and space.
Wait a minute. George Carlin's going to show up and say hi. Whoa. Yeah, no. So that was the world I choose to live in. And it's a great fucking movie.
And that's, you said Excellent Adventure, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I do have a soft spot still in my heart for Bogus Journey too.
Yeah, it's a great follow-up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go back and watch them, Excellent Adventure is just such a stronger movie.
It is.
Okay, so I think we touched on your number 1.
Yes, and I also know your number 1 secretly. I also know your number 1 secretly.
Okay. All right, well, I'll go since we talked about yours. Point Break.
There it is.
Okay. Point Break is peak Keanu Reeves. Okay? Point Break came out in 1991.
Ooh.
So this was... So I say it's peak Keanu. It's also peak Patrick Swayze for me.
Nice.
This was a year after Patrick Swayze did Ghost. So he was massive at this point.
Yeah.
And this role, I mean, they're both just babes in this movie.
Sure.
But what a great role for Patrick Swayze, whose character's name is Bodhi, which is just, yeah, it's like supposed to be, it's Bodhi, if that tells you. Yeah.
What kind of name is Bodhi?
I know. And Keanu is Johnny Utah.
Oh my god, dude, that reminds me so much of, like, what does he say in the show? He says Jackie Daytona or whatever from fucking, you probably haven't watched this show. It's What We Do in the Shadows if people have watched it.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, that is a hilarious name for an action hero.
Yeah. Dude, it's also just a fantastic action movie. Referenced in, like, Hot Fuzz, referenced in a lot of other movies. That famous scene where he shoots up into the air.
Yep.
John C. McKinley's in it. He's
I didn't know
their
that.
police chief.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does
Gary
he look younger?
Busey. Well, no, he looks like he always has.
Okay.
Gary Busey's in it. He's
Wow.
Johnny Utah's partner. He's great in it too.
Wow, yeah. Quick side fact, we looked at and found recently that Luke Busey is a child actor and the child of Gary Busey. So that exists. Now you're all aware.
Dude, blew my mind. I could not believe that. Lori Petty, that's the love interest in the movie. And she's fucking great in it. She's so good in it. Such a babe, too.
Yep.
But I saved a quote from the movie that I thought you'd be interested in. So the premise of the movie, he's got to infiltrate like a bank robbing crew. They're trying to figure out who's doing it, and the police determine that it's likely a group of surfers.
Okay.
So Johnny Utah, Keanu, has to infiltrate the surfer scene, and so he becomes a surfer himself.
Okay.
And at one point, they're not making any progress. So the police chief says, "Do you think that taxpayers would like it, Utah, if they knew that they were paying a federal agent to surf and pick up girls?" And Keanu goes, "Babes." And the police chief goes, "I beg your pardon?" And he goes, "The correct term is babes, sir."
That's what he was concerned about. I love him.
Yeah.
That is really early on them going like, we're going to play to Keanu's biggest strength, which is just being the dude.
Yeah. And he's great in it. And Patrick Swayze, legit, it's like, it's such a strong dramatic performance for him.
Wow.
Yeah. That's one of my all-time favorites. And I love going back to it.
Yeah. I have heard you say before how much you love that movie, and I keep meaning to watch it. In fact, coming up to this episode, I had the best of intentions to watch it. Now, before you bring out the pitchforks, I'm still planning on it, and I want to now even obviously more because it's just like such an absurd list of awesome things, and I know that it's gonna be a time capsule of a movie. Like 91, that's the year before I was made alive. You know, so it's just right in that peak time.
That's how people say that. That's a year before I was made alive.
You know, I was not made alive before then. So.
Hey, what are you doing for your made alive day this year?
It's a real mouthful, that one. Yeah, no, that's sick. All right, people are gonna dig that. That's a classic. And also, I'll just get to it. No surprises. It's Matrix.
Yeah,
the very first Matrix. It is so influential. We were talking about John Wick being influential. Even John Wick is standing on the shoulders of the Matrix, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's insane. It's wild that like the sequence of events just lined up to make that movie at that time period. And then people rushed out to see it and it became this worldwide phenomenon. Like everyone who's seen it is obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And it totally opened our eyes. Kind of like a pill, blue or red. It's up to you to decide.
Whoa, dude.
I think red. It's red. Red is the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's the one that makes you wakey uppy. So anyways, it totally opened people's eyes to this, like, you know, are we in an alternate reality? Are things different than we think they are? It became like this huge stoner movie, but also like an action dad movie. And it lives on to this day and is sick. So I'm going to give it the 1.
Yeah, I'm really stoked that you had this as your 1 because I didn't realize that I don't think we've ever really talked about Matrix, so I didn't realize that you were such a big fan. It's also fun just to read about like how great of a guy he was even back then.
Yeah.
Where he like gave a huge amount of his earnings to the whole cast and crew or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No, he killed it. Absolutely killed it. So those are our 1 and 2, man. I like that. I like that pairing. That's the inaugural after the first batch is going to Keanu.
Yeah, it's peak 90s Keanu.
Yep.
And later peak 90s Keanu.
That's right. We got that decade on lock, dude.
91 and 99, you know? So he started strong and he ended strong, the 90s.
Strong man, strong boy.
I know. And then he went on to do like a bunch of weird kung fu movies, but those are the dark times.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about those. I did, but we don't need to.
We don't need to. We do need to talk about, unless you have anything else.
Nope.
Okay. We do need to talk about the fact that words are coming out of my mouth. Oh, binges on the fringes, which is perfect because I hit a pothole as I was talking about it, and now I'm coming out of it. So yeah.
Beautiful recovery.
Thank you so much. No one could tell. So this is a segment where we talk about what we've been doing that is not related to the topic of the week. So the world is open to you. Anything you want to highlight in pop culture.
Yeah.
One thing.
So that's tough because I have been playing Cyberpunk.
Okay.
So I'll stray away from that just because you had it as an honorable mention and as Keanu. Rewatching Workaholics. I'm back on that Workaholics.
Nice.
I love it so much. The writing is so solid.
Yeah.
And I love going back to it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's been my big go-to right now.
Nice. Yeah, and I remember back in the day you were like a bigger Durs fan.
Yeah.
But did you tell me that you've kind of switched over to Blake as being your favorite, or do you think Adam's your favorite, or...
So, as far as the characters in the show, it depends on the seasons.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Adam is a super strong character in the early seasons.
Yeah.
Continues to be a strong character throughout. But Blake, I feel like, doesn't find his groove until, like, after season 3.
Sure.
Durs is, like... His character is so great just because it's like the white rapper wannabe guy and he plays it so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's shifted more to Adam and Blake.
Yeah.
After the rewatches. But I'm still a huge fan. And like watching Durs's like mannerisms.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly crafted character for him.
He is, yeah. I mean, dude, one of my favorite quotes from the whole show is, "Dang, what about all these books?"
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite quotes come from Durs.
From Durs, yeah. That's a great call. I love that show. That is not the one I'm going to highlight, but I am going to highlight a show.
Okay.
And specifically a character from a show. So I have been rewatching Modern Family.
Nice.
And I love it. And I love the whole cast. They're all really good. But there is one absolute standout in every episode and in every scene that he's in. And that is the one and only Phil Dunphy. I have decided that for me, I can't think of anyone better. So he is the greatest on-screen dad of all time for me. As far as like sitcom dad goes, I love him. I think he's the perfect combination of lovable and goofy. He's got great lines. He's just the best. Honestly, dude, I mean, you probably watched enough 80s TV that maybe there's some answer for you, or 90s TV there that you're like, that guy's the better answer.
Yeah.
But if I'm putting one guy in, it's my guy, Phil.
Okay. I mean, I do have a pick that I would put over that if we're talking best sitcom dads, but maybe we'll scratch that later.
Oh.
But I agree. I do love Phil Dunphy. We have not finished Modern Family. We got a few seasons in, really liked it, fell off for whatever reason. But yeah, he and Cal, I think, are my two favorite characters.
Oh, Cam?
Cam.
Yeah. Cam is great.
It's been a while since I watched it. Cal, Cam,
California and Cameron's,
Camel, California, yeah. No, that's a great show, too. Yeah. And that's a good comfort watch, short episodes, quick humor.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and it was also like, it was an interesting turning time for... Turning time? Hi, welcome to Turning Time. I'm your host, Talon.
On your Made Alive Day.
Yeah, Made Alive Day. But it was an interesting turning point for, like, sitcoms, too. To just go from, like... That was one of the last runs, dude, of, like, 24 episodes of season every year where they were just banking them. You know what I mean? Like, and then quickly thereafter, the streaming era started, and it was just like, we can do 8 episodes, 30 minutes apiece. That's our best offer. So.
Yeah, and then we just hear about, like, how difficult it is to make the show from the showrunners, and we have to wait 3 years for the next season.
Dude, yes. Oh, my God.
But I get it. True. Shows are hard.
Shows are hard, man.
I get it, but Modern Family.
Great show.
Absolute banger, and an example of how things can go well.
Yeah. I think also, speaking of things that have gone well, this episode.
Oh, dude, I'm so proud of that.
I'm so proud of us.
Where can the people reach us? Where can they find us?
That's a good question. Well, on Instagram, they can find us at
Doomsday Download Pod.
That's right. And if they want to write in a point or a question or a fan art or just the word hi, they can do that at
doomsdaydownloadpod@gmail.com.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Well,
it
look at that.
Sounded like automated, kind of.
It really did. Sounded like we hired a professional.
That's right. And if you're listening to this on your way to work, have a great day at work.
And if you're listening to it on your way home, I hope it was a good day.
Night-night.